Hello everyone, Shintobean here playing some more Warhammer combat cards, and in this video I'm going to be showing you the newest Supreme Commander to enter the game for the Tau faction. It is Commander Shadowsun. Oh, sorry, that's the old version, who is still in the game, but we actually have a second Shadowsun Warlord now, over here. You can see the model's a little bit different. Not sure what Games Workshop was thinking when they approved this design, because this is like the goofiest looking helmet I've seen. It just looks like Master Chief to me, but anyway, I do like how they did use a different model though, so that you can better differentiate between the two warlords of the same name. Obviously this one is a lot different. There was a developer blog post talking more about Supreme Commanders. This is the first time that they've made an existing warlord into a Supreme Commander. What makes Supreme Commander special is, first of all, they are all at least 80 points. So this one is 82, making her slightly more expensive than Call at the moment. If you look at the max level, she will have 395 health and 145 ranged attack with a precision shot and Inspiring Presence as their dual traits. She is legendary. But the special rule is where things really start getting interesting. Now, at first glance, I thought that this was going to be by far the worst special rule of any Supreme Commander, and maybe even any Warlord in the game, because the percentages seemed quite low, and also it feels very slow, especially when you compare it alongside Shazo Relay, who immediately buffs all of your units right from turn 1. But after taking a look at it and actually playing with the Warlord, I realized that this special rule does have the potential to be quite strong in certain situations, and definitely a lot more damage potential in the late game as long as you're able to keep your damage dealers alive. So how does the special rule work? First of all, Supreme Commanders all have two parts to the special rule. So the first part of Shadowsun's is that it gives your friendly cards a permanent 15% boost to their base ranged attack if they didn't change lane in either player's turn. So it activates at the end of your turn, but it does have to be at the end of the round after your opponent has had a turn. So if you have the initiative and you take the first turn, it's not going to activate then. You'll have to wait until the third turn before you get the buff. And 15%, it's really not that much, but it does continue to stack. Again, you do have to make sure that you don't move your cards around though, although I noticed that this does not apply to the initial deployment at the beginning of the game. You can put a card down and then shift it over into a different lane, and that doesn't count as moving it on that turn. The second part of the rule is the really impactful one though. So this one causes your cards to attack anything that is deployed across from it from your opponent's hand for 25% of their current ranged attack. So again, 25% isn't that much. The free attacks are kind of reminiscent of Darkstrider's special rule. The crazy thing about this one that I didn't even realize at the beginning though is that it is a counter to certain warlords. Some of the strongest warlords, in fact, like Lilith and Creed, who are able to return cards back to their hand. Also the Tervigon, which can redeploy the Termagant. Anytime any of those cards comes back to the field, they're going to be getting attacked by your units. Also, this applies to Endless. Whenever you kill an Endless card, technically the copy goes back to the hand before redeploying, which means that Shadowsun will be able to get an extra attack in. Now, there's a lot more to discuss, but I think it's best to demonstrate how it actually works. So I'm going to play two matches here, one in ranked mode and one in Apocalypse mode, where I think she really shines. And we'll see how this plays out. So first of all, in ranked, I'm running a high initiative deck, aiming to take the first turn here. So I got the Sunshark Bomber, Skyray Gunship, and Cold Star Battlesuit. All three of these have a very high attack, and with the remaining 2 points, I've got the Anti-Grav Drone. And this is a 200-point deck, exactly. Alright, we're playing against Captain Acheron, and this is a good matchup, I think, because, of course, Acheron's Iron Halo is really annoying to deal with, but if you're getting extra attacks, particularly with a Barrage card, that will make it easier to deal with those cards that are saved by the Iron Halo. So we're going to start off. We have the first deployment, as you can see. The free attack part of the special rule does apply in this pre-deployment phase. So what you deploy first is actually quite important. You want to deploy something with a high attack. The thing is that AI doesn't always deploy across from you. So in this case, because they deployed across from the open space in my right lane, I did not get a free attack. And this is actually an important point because when you're playing against Shadowsun, it is a way to counter. If you simply deploy cards where opponents don't have any units deployed, they won't get anything out of the special rule. So we'll go ahead and deploy the Skyray gunship over here. Now the AI could avoid an attack by deploying something in the right lane, but they choose to go into the middle lane, giving us that free attack. And then, if the Tau have a card in every lane, of course, then there's no way to avoid the attack, unless you have a card that has no ranged attack value. Then deploying across from that would be the best route, at least from the Space Marine's perspective in this case. So here, the Cold Star Battlesuit gets the free attack, and I probably should have slowed down the game speed, because there's a really cool animation when they get that free attack. At least the barrage animation is still the same, but if it's just a regular ranged attack, it does look a little bit different. So lots of damage here. Of course, they're going to get saved by the Iron Halo, but with the barrage, we will be able to take down some of these guys. And then the next card that deploys will be getting attacked. So in this case, wow, bad idea right there. Deploying across from the one barrage unit takes down an enemy before they get a chance to attack. So again, they are deploying across from the bomber. Really kind of dumb. So far, the first part of the special rule has not activated, and it'll be on this turn. So this is turn 3, right? We took a turn, Space Marines took a turn, and now it's our next turn. Nothing has moved, so that means at the end of this turn, we will be getting that 15% buff to our stats. And that will slow down the game speed just a little bit so we can see the animation here at the end of the turn. There it is, boom, and it actually causes the cards to continue to glow like this so that you can more easily tell which cards have been buffed. There is the special unique animation there you can see from the Cold Star Battlesuit from the cards deploying across from my guys. So yeah, that looks really cool. Really love what they did there with the animation. Also notice that Acheron got attacked before his shield even activated. So that's pretty interesting. Didn't even realize that would happen either. It's the first time I've seen that interaction, but yeah, that is pretty nice. The extra attack you get from Shadowsun occurs before any traits activate, so that includes, of course, Furious Charge, as well as shields, and I would assume Fear as well. Anyway, let's go ahead and, yeah, our guys have been buffed now, so yeah, they are benefiting from that 15% boost. We can finally attack with that powered up attack. We got the Big Game Hunter going off there, taking down the Dreadnought. Of course, my cards are at much higher level, so we're doing pretty well here. Haven't lost anything. Of course, as soon as you lose a unit, you will kind of lose some momentum. So keeping those your most powerful cards alive is going to be the challenge, I think, as Shadowsun. Alright, so good game right there. That was actually really nice. We got to see some interesting interactions there. So that was ranked mode. I mean, obviously, Supreme Commander Shadowsun does take up a large portion of your deck, so you won't have nearly as many points worth of bodyguards. But of course, in Apocalypse mode, you can run some absolutely crazy stuff. In fact, I think you could maybe run both Lords of War and Longstrike in the same deck. An incredible amount of firepower. Especially at max level with 400 points. This Commander Shadowsun is going to feel very overpowered if we do have that opportunity. But as of right now, I do have one Lord of War. The Supremacy Armor with Big Game Hunter. We got the Riptide Battlesuit. We got Longstrike. We've got the Sunshark Bomber again. And then just a healer there that we can deploy at some point. But let's go ahead and deploy, and hopefully we do get a decent matchup here. Alright, we are up against the Avatar of Cain, and they are going first. So when the enemy goes first, that does mean that you have less chances to get an extra attack in. We'll deploy Longstrike here first, although I guess deploying the Sunshark Bomber would have been a better option. You can see there they avoided the free attack right there. Put down the Sunshark Bomber next. And, well, they do deploy in the middle there, so we do get the free attack. And we'll just throw down... I'll just throw down the Supremacy Armor. Why not? I can't remember if I did now. I was going to say, in that pre-deployment, you can shift your cards around. And you'll still get the buff at the end of your turn. on turn 2. Now we did get hit by a ranged debuff there, but we still have plenty of firepower, so we're gonna just wipe the board here. And actually, this is gonna be pretty important, I think, because you'll see right after we get the buff to our guys, the enemy is forced to deploy 3 cards, meaning they will get attacked 3 times, no matter where they deploy in this case. So 45 damage there from the Supremacy Armor, another hit from the gunship, and yet another barrage attack we got there. So lots of free damage. And now it is the enemy turn. They are going melee. Boom, boom, boom. Our guys are still doing fine. And then we can attack once again with our empowered ranged attack. And it's just going to keep stacking here, because yeah, at the end of this turn, none of my guys moved, so we get another 15% to the attack. It is supposed to be off of the base attack. Let's see how much we get here. Now, there might be a little typo. I noticed this actually in another game. See there, we're getting some extra attacks in. And here comes the Avatar Arcane, a barrage attack going off there. These are very low-level cards that we're up against, so a pretty easy match. Obviously, if you're facing off against an equally leveled opponent, it's going to be a little bit harder to keep your guys alive. Now, one thing I noticed that in the text here, it says that you get a 15% to their base ranged attack, but actually, I just played a match against Gloggerthrox the Foul. Longstrike was getting debuffed by Nurgle's Rot, and that caused the 15% buff to actually be reduced. Now, I could end the game here, but just to see if it's still the same amount, I'm going to ready, which is going to cause our cards to get another ranged buff of 15%. And let's see here how much it is. So, plus 18 attack to Longstrike. I think that is based off of the base ranged attack. So, okay, just wanted to make sure. We do have a really massive attack here, 1,000 damage exactly. And of course, if we could just do a readying loop, continue to get buffed every single turn. But yeah, that is, as you can see, pretty powerful in Apocalypse mode. So definitely looking forward to a future 400-point Tau campaign. That's going to be pretty fun, I think, with this Warlord. That is Supreme Commander Shadowsun for you. Let me know what you think of this Warlord, what you think of Supreme Commanders. Again, I did not realize how strong this special rule was until I tested it out for myself. At first glance, I was like, wow, this is terrible. But it's actually quite fun, while still allowing for counterplay. So it definitely adds a new dimension to the game that didn't exist before. But that's it for this one. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.
Sacrifice me.